late game execution.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
So, I want to keep going in on this topic that all of a sudden is a topic that shouldn't be the topic, but you know how the NBA media is. Now, one of the biggest stories outside the NBA playoffs is Giannis going to stay in Milwaukee or not? I made that video yesterday, released that video yesterday, so go check that one out. But there's one more thing I would like to add to that whole topic. So I just happened to come across on the YouTube algorithm a video, 12-minute video, showed I think it was the 1996 post-game interview between the Bucks and the Bulls. The Bulls just won their 70th game, breaking records against the Milwaukee Bucks. It might have been, it was later in the season, like the last 2 or 3 games of the season, of course, because they ended up finishing the 95-96 season of Chicago Bulls 72-10, right? And I guess this video is titled "The 1996 Postgame Interview That Shut Down the GOAT Debate," right? There's lots of things to take away from this 12-minute video that we can just go in on, but there's a couple things I want to take on. Now, we live in the era, right, or maybe used to live in the era where you have all these supposed superstars trying to jump ship, go to somebody else's team, play with somebody else, stack the team up, and all kinds of other freaking tomfoolery instead of trying to, stay the course on their own team and figure it out, right? And the 95-96 Bulls is really something. For some reason, these kids these days, born after 2000, think the Bulls, especially the last repeat of the Bulls, were a super team. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I understand it now. I should have never said I don't understand it, but I understand what they're trying to do, what these kids are trying to do. It all pertains to LeBron, but it doesn't work. But if you look at this roster, and I already know the older crowd knows of this, the older NBA fans know this, all right? But sometimes you gotta educate the younger ones because they don't know nothing. Now, if you look at the roster of the 72-10 team, right quick, look it up and down, right? Randy Brown, Judd Butcher, Jason Caffey, James Edwards, Jack Haley, Ron Harper, of course Jordan himself, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, John Sally, Dickie Simpkins, and Bill Wellington. Does that sound like a super team to y'all? I find it funny that they say this is a super team, but they don't know nothing about the 90s. They barely know anything about the 90s. They keep thinking Dennis Rodman is on the level of, I don't know what they think Dennis Rodman is on the level. But anyways, the Chicago Bulls were no super team. No versions of it was a super team. But they still managed to win a ring that season, right? They still managed to win a ring that season. Reason why I bring this up because it's Jordan and Pippen, basically. Dennis Rodman wasn't the scorer that everybody thinks he is, but everybody played a role. See, the problem with teams today, the reason why you don't see no more three-peats or dynasties anymore like that, because, with the exception of the Golden State Warriors, but even with the Golden State Warriors, everybody has a role. Problem with some of these other teams outside of the Warriors today, maybe OKC might have it, but other teams that think they're championship teams, nobody plays their role. Now, you can pinpoint the last 4 teams that did win the finals. Everybody did have a role, but they're not consistent with it. That's why they're not back into it anymore. And then you got injuries to blame as well. So I just don't get the jump ship and go to another team when you have Michael Jordan, who basically had Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, who was just a rebounder, defensive, and a bunch of good role players, and they won it all. Today, they lack leadership. They lack even knowledge for the game to even get stuff done like this. And maybe some of it has to do with coaching as well. That has something to do with it, a little bit with it too. And this whole, the Golden State Warriors won 73-9. You know what? I got so tired of hearing about that. Golden State Warriors the best team ever. How can you be the best team ever when you didn't win the ring? See, the Bulls ended that season. If you combine all the playoff wins, they swept the Heat, lost one to the Knicks, swept the Orlando Magic with Shaq and Penny. Who was on that Miami team? I keep forgetting who was on that Miami team. But they swept the Knicks, who had basically Patrick and John Starks, of course. Swept the Orlando Magic, who had Shaq and Penny. And then they went 6 games with Gary Payton. And Jordan had to basically, what's the better word to say this? Pull out his ass to win this series, because when you look at the numbers for some of the other players, some of the role players, even Scottie Pippen himself, they was not, I can't say up to par, but they just wasn't good. But Jordan still managed to win the team because Jordan is that dude. Everybody talk about LeBron is this, LeBron is that. LeBron is most likely a playmaker, right? He's not the scorer and assassin that a Jordan or Kobe is. That's his issue. That's one of his issues. He don't have the skill set to be that. Don't even have the freaking mental fortitude to do that. That's why he needs people like Kyrie and Luka, but I don't think that's ever gonna work with Luka anyway. But you can't call a team that won 73 games but lost in the finals the best team ever. That's what LeBron said. He beat the best team ever. No, you didn't. You didn't beat the best team ever. It's funny that sorry. It's funny that both 73 win teams like the Golden State Warriors and Chicago Bulls, they weren't really super teams. You don't consider, I guess, that the Golden State Warriors to be a super team. They just played their role. Now after that, the year after that, maybe because they got Kevin Durant. He's probably a top 5 player back then. But yeah, these guys, modern players and their fans, give them way too many excuses. Give them way too many excuses. And Jordan did this, and the Bulls did this in a harder time in the NBA, a tougher route in the NBA. Well, there ain't no cupcakes and no defense. And it was defense. They barely play defense now. But I also would like to add, I was watching it here in the post game, watching the post game interview, and they was asking Jordan where does 72 wins or 70 wins place in his top 10 accomplishments, and it was very low. He named his first 3 rings, 2 Olympic medals, national championship, and the day he got drafted before he even got to that 70-win season. And it's probably that 70-win season is so low now, it's not even funny. But just the way he talked about that, he didn't really care about the 70 wins. None of them really care about the 70 wins. They just wanted to win the championship. That's all they wanted to win. Forget the 70 regular season accomplishment. They wanted all, the gold. Jordan didn't care about breaking into accomplishments or anything in individual records. He didn't care about any of that. You know? But we got someone, you know who, that cares about all that more than winning. and wants us to think he's the GOAT, but he's not. He's not. Ain't no objector, no subjector to it. He's just not. And the way Jordan gave out that press interview post game, I don't know, him and Scotty think the Bucks, like, I don't know how many times. Yes, they got 70 wins on the Bucks. The irony behind it is, yeah, they got their 70th win and broke the record on the Bucks at the Bradley Center, the old Bradley Center. And almost 20 years later, yeah, it was 20 years later. No, it wasn't 20 years later. It could be 20 years later. Almost 20 years later, on that same floor, the Milwaukee Bucks stopped a big time streak. I forgot how many wins the Golden State Warriors had that 73-9 season. But they started off the season with a big ass winning streak, and the Bucks basically stopped all of that. The irony behind it. But they continue to give praise, mainly Jordan, give praise to Milwaukee Bucks, talk about how hard they played, didn't demean the team or anything like that, and also gave credit to the ones that came before him, like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dr. J, and people like that. There was no disrespecting the players of the past. Anthony Edwards. There was none of that. There was no, oh, that right there made me the GOAT. You bald and scoundrel, you in LA. There was none of that. He gave praise, kept it G, standing 10 toes down, didn't say anything derogative about anybody, and kept it pushing. Gave praise to the teammates. Give praise, like I said, give praise to the opposition. Didn't demean the media. Had charisma. Joked with the media. There was none of that going on that we see now with some of these players. I hate to say it. Some of these players are demonstrative to the media. But then again, at the same time, some of these media members are class A idiots as well. But I guess there's a way to carry yourself when you're giving out interviews, even with the media acting like a bunch of scoundrels anyway. So there's that. But yeah, I can't get behind players just moving, shifting, and dodging the smoke when you have greatness. You don't have to have a super team to win it all. You just got to figure out how to win it all. I don't know. I know when it is. I can't even say that. I just think after LeBron did this whole, I went take my talents to South Beach. It just opened the floodgates for everybody to do that, and just made an easy way out for everyone. But anyways, shout out to NJ, of course, in that '96 team. They were like the pinnacle of NBA achievement at the time. I held into more high regard than the 73-9 Warriors, mainly because the Bulls actually won it all, and the Warriors sunk in 7 games against that balding scoundrel that thinks he's the GOAT. But anyways, tell me what you guys think.